Today we're about to show you exactly step by step how we've landed our biggest placements so far, to give you the blueprint to getting placements without even trying. Literally all the placements we've landed, we got without even trying. As you're about to see, the placements we're going to show you were indirect results of the small things we do every single day without chasing or worrying about getting placements. Plus, we're going to show you how much money we've made from each of these placements, including the upfronts, royalties, and the money we haven't been paid yet. Because every placement you land is handled very, very differently, as you're about to see. Let's get into it.
Alright, first of all, jumping into our first kind of big placement is Thotty by Goya NTG.
She on my body, I'm on her too.
So we got this placement through a free pack we released about 6 months ago now. It was a guitar loop. Forgot what the loop was called, but anyway, a guy called Young Geed used the loop, sent it off to Goya. The day the song was released, Young Geed messaged us the post from Goya. We had no idea about any of the information to do with the song. It was out on YouTube and Spotify, and we hadn't been paid a single cent. With this being our first kind of big placement, it was kind of weird and we weren't really sure what to do. We're asking people what to do and how to get paid, but lots of people had different, various answers, as every single placement does. To keep it short and simple, after 2 months of hassling their management, hopping on calls, going back and forth on Instagram, we got paid 600 USD for the use of the sample. That was just meant to be the upfront. We're still trying to sort out our publishing and master royalties with the management. It's already got 1 million views on YouTube and another couple 100,000 on Spotify, so there's definitely some money there that we're owed. However, there's a lesson to learn here. It takes months and months and even years to get these things sorted out. With this placement, since we had no connection to the artist or management or anybody, the only reason we were able to get paid that 600 USD was by following up and emailing them. Especially if you're not already connected to the artist or part of the team when dropping a song. Lots of times artists and management are just going to try to push you out and make sure you don't get paid. So the most important lesson is to keep following up. It's your work out there, your sample, your beat. So just keep pushing until you're paid what you deserve. So to sum this placement up, we got it through a free loop kit. There wasn't much energy involved in getting it. However, getting paid and reaching out and calling these guys management was a mission on its own and took up a lot of hours. This next placement, which was a lot more recent, came out at the end of January. It's called Yadame by Izam and Bezard Later. We got this placement through the guys finding this beat on YouTube from a producer called Eros. We made the sample, sent it over to him, and he got it up on his beat channel. So these guys bought a beat license from Eros. At the time, we didn't actually know who it was. And then a couple months later, they dropped the song Yadame. We woke up one morning and saw we were tagged in a story saying the song had been released. Now, obviously, these guys had already bought a beat license, but as producers, you're still entitled to master and publishing royalties. We have been sent a contract from these artist management, and we're just finalizing some of the details on it before we sign it and send it back off. The agreement at this point is that we're getting 25% publishing as well as a 300 USD payment instead of master royalties to split between us as producers. Even though we haven't been paid anything from this placement yet, it feels like we've used a lot less energy sorting out the details on this contract compared to our last placement, and that's because these guys have been a lot easier to work with. So coming back to the reason of how we actually got this placement, this wouldn't have been possible if we didn't have a connection with the producer, Eros. Building a connection with the producer with a big type beat channel is not as easy as messaging them and sending them some loops. You've got to first build up some trust, send them hard samples that they're actually going to use and is within their niche, and from there, if they keep using them, things like this are going to start happening. So the lesson here is to make sure you're not rushing connections with big producers and making sure you've got good samples that they're going to use. If we had started sending samples to Eros earlier than we actually did, there's a chance we could have ended up in spam and without this placement. Again, take your time, make sure your samples are at the same level as these producers are using, and don't rush into anything that you don't need to be doing. Ideally, before you're sending samples to somebody, you would have wanted to talk to them first, as this is going to increase the chance that they're actually going to use your samples, and in turn, increasing the chances of you getting placements through their type beat channel. This last placement we're going to show you is called Kama Sutra by Enzo Cello. This is our favorite placement we've got, and it recently came out only a couple weeks ago. How we got this placement was similar to the last one. We sent a sample to Eros, he made a beat on it and sent it over to Enzo Cello, who then recorded onto the song. So the process for this song was a lot different to any of the other placements we've got, as we knew it was coming out, and Eros directly sent the beat to the artist, so everything was planned before before the song even released. When working with independent artists, when you have a direct link to them, we found that you usually won't be getting an upfront payment. However, this is understandable, as usually you're going to be getting more master and publishing royalties. So that was the case with this song. No upfront payment. However, we agreed on 33% publishing for us, as well as 10% master. Publishing royalties were super easy to register with BeatStars Publishing. For the master royalties, we were sent a link to a distribution company called Symphonic, which is similar to DistroKid. So we clicked on the link that the management sent us, made an account, accepted the split, and it was as easy as that. Now, obviously, we've just got to wait for the royalties to start coming in. So as you've heard, both this placement and the other placement were both through Eros, which just stresses the fact that building with a big producer and sending them hard samples all the time is going to increase the chances of getting big placements. To sum this video up, here are the ways that we got these 3 placements and how you can get placements as well, doing the exact same thing. First of all, collaboration. This is an absolute must if you're trying to get placements and you haven't established yourself in the music industry yet, which most of you probably haven't. All the placements we talked about today were with another producer. It's very, very hard to do this stuff by yourself and get these big placements alone. Obviously, all these placements and all our other placements have been with samples because we focus on samples, we prefer making them, and that's just what works for us. However, being a beat maker as well, still locking with other beat makers and sample makers, collaboration is key to getting placements. Secondly, loop kits or type beats, whether you're a beat maker or sample maker. This is how people in the music industry are getting placements these days. There are heaps of artists scrolling through YouTube looking for beats. So if you can grow a big loop kit channel or a big type beat channel, or if you're collabing with people on these loop kits or type beats, with time and consistency, it's almost inevitable that you're going to get some placements. And lastly, be patient, earn your respect, and just work your way up the music industry by networking with other people. In the last year, it feels like every couple months we've been getting more and more placements, which just shows the longer you stay in it and the more work you put in, the more placements are going to come.
We've got a bunch of placements with artists who are even bigger than the artists we've shown you today. However, they are all unreleased. And the point here is that a lot of the time, songs don't actually get released. So whenever you see a snippet that you've been tagged in, or someone tells you that someone's hopped on your beat, save your energy and don't waste time thinking and stressing about that placement. As we've learned, getting these unreleased songs with big artists, that a lot of the time they don't actually release, or it takes a very, very long time for them to actually release. Hopefully you took away something from that video that will help you get placements in the future. Follow our Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube, follow our journey as we're just getting started with these placements. As we progress and as we get these bigger placements, we're going to show you guys exactly how everything works so you can learn from our experience to get some placements of your own. Cheers for watching, boys. We'll see you in the next one.